What's up, horror fam? Steven, aka Bojangles here, once again with another episode of TalkHorror Live, and I've got my special co-host with me here, baby. The familiar Dr. Briggs. What's up, Doctor?
Not much, dude. Just been laying out of work today,
Oh,
and
so Briggs tells me he's got the yuck. Not the
I got
yuck, but he's
something.
got something.
I know one thing: I'm probably never gonna eat at Burger King again.
Oh, fuck, that just sounds ugh. Dude, okay, so, I'm clearly back from vacation now. And let me tell you something, Briggs. While I was on vacation, you know what? This is Talk Horror. We're gonna talk some damn horror here, baby. Because when I was on vacation, dude, like my second day, I found out the hard way, man, that children are plague carriers. Holy shit, didn't I get super sick?
Oh no!
Oh yeah. Oh yeah, dude. So like, if you remember right, man, that first podcast we did when I was on vacation. Oh my god, dude. The next day I woke up, dude, and you've seen Tombstone, right?
Oh yeah, we watched it together, dude.
Yeah, so you remember at the end when Wyatt Earp is playing cards with Doc Holliday, and Holliday's on his way out, so to speak. I was fucking Doc Holliday, Briggs, is all I'm saying,
Oh
dude.
no!
I'm telling you, man, them kids with them damn cooties, bro.
That's some serious shit, dude. You got
Yeah,
yourself. You caught the distemper.
I did, man. Oh my god, dude, like that shit, man. And then by the time we did I'm still not completely better from that stuff, man. I'm still on
Oh,
the. Let me tell you something, Briggs. This is what it was like, baby. The next day when I woke up, I felt like Hulk Hogan hit me with the big boot. Randy Savage nailed me with the damn elbow drop off the top rope. And then the fucking dog from A Nightmare on Elm Street 4 pissed on me while I was laying there in that bed. That's what I felt like, Briggs, but that just reminds me, dude. Well, I fucked up, man, because on the way home, like, I had to stay over because we were sick. I was sick. So I ended up, staying out of state longer than planned, man. On the way home, I fucked up and picked up some Burger King.
no!
Oh, yeah. I couldn't finish it. I was like, man, there is no damn way.
God,
Oh, yeah,
I don't
Briggsy.
know. It's found its way down to Tennessee now, man.
Oh, man. Well, I was trying to, I did warn you about doing that podcast with me, man.
I know, dude. It spreads through the airwaves.
Yeah, it's like the pulse virus. So let me tell you something, though, Briggs. But tonight, the big topic at hand here, you know, is slasher films dead? And that's a big statement coming from me, Briggs, because anybody who knows me knows I fucking love slasher films, baby.
Hmm.
But
I know it's a big topic of contention whether or not slashers even have a place in the modern horror cinema landscape. Some people say they're just so played out you can't do them well anymore.
I think that's how we're going to have to approach this because and I'm already seeing some comments here, which fair, because this is like the angle we're approaching it. Like, slashers aren't technically dead, just like horror isn't technically dead. The problem with slashers and where they're at right now is it's almost like every slasher that comes out has to be like number one, either a throwback, self-aware, or satirical, or something of that nature, or independent. Like, if they're going to do a straightforward slasher, then you're probably going to get that independently, and like,
It's probably gonna suck.
and well, yes, I mean, sadly, But, another thing that we have to address here, because there's a movie that I've been really wanting to see for about the past month, and I haven't got the chance to see it yet, and that is Ty West's new film, X. And yes, it's a slasher. I already see it mentioned in the comments, like, slashers aren't dead because X is coming out, but that's the fucking problem. X is a throwback. Right? I mean, I think it takes place in the 70s or something like that.
Now, Steve, X is a throwback, but it's not a direct throwback. It is a film that takes place in the past. Stylistically, it does crib a couple of things a little too closely to the original Texas Chainsaw Massacre. It's a little bit corny in that respect.
Mm-hmm.
And it does even get meta at points. But I think X shows us that a slasher can still be A, original, B, it doesn't need to have a gimmick, and C, it can still be serious. Those are three huge positives. I just watched X recently that I think you'd appreciate about it, dude.
Oh, okay. Yeah, so, I've been... You watched it.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, you son of a bitch. I've been aching to check that out so bad. You dick. But... but that's the thing, man. Like... It plays on that angle still. You know what I'm saying? It's like for instance, one of the more recent slashers that I actually liked, that I thought was a really good, straightforward slasher, and didn't pull any punches, anything like that, was The Strangers. And made it to theaters.
And that's been, what, like... coming on 15 years ago now?
Yeah, sure has.
We've had like an original slasher idea make it to theaters, except if you count like X or maybe like Don't Breathe.
That's
like
true.
In terms of like marketability, man, it seems like a slasher cannot make it to theaters in this day and age. And it seems to me like the ones that do tend to go direct to video, they either want to directly copy from one of the previous ideas. They want to either throw back to Jason, Michael, or Freddy, either like deformed, super strong feral child that's living in isolation, somebody who's been evil from birth, or serial killer who's come back from the dead as a haunting.
And Vanderhoff 66FU says You're Next, which is a movie that I do like as well, but once again, that's another one of the things. It's like, it's not a serious, straightforward slasher. Like, it seems like, where The Strangers was a straightforward horror movie. It was, there was like no comedic relief, really no comedic elements. That's a thing that it just seems like, man, like a slasher can't get over now unless it has that throwback element, unless it does, it's self-aware or comedic, or, gone are the days of like, unless it has a big name supporting it, because of course we have Scream, which very self-aware, but we also have the new Halloween films.
Those are both supported by their fucking franchise names.
Yeah. So gone are the days of your original Halloweens or something like that, man, where it's just a straightforward slasher. But, Briggs, so here's the question I have for you. Let's go ahead and go back to the past a little bit, man, because I want to get your take on this. I know a lot of people say that as far as the modern slasher is concerned, they would start at Psycho. That's where I hear most horror fans say, and then I've heard some people even say Black Christmas. They kind of skip the Texas Chainsaw Massacre, and for some reason, I don't know, but they go to Black Christmas, which definitely inspired, Halloween and everything like that, man. But where would you say the modern slasher started? Or, I mean, enough to where, like, it started something that, influenced cinema enough to, like, that's the slasher, you know what I'm saying? Like,
In terms of the closest thing to an outline of the modern slasher, the closest thing to a prototype, I'm one of those who definitely goes with Black Christmas. It's the first one that really it it features a killer that tends to hide their face for most of the film. He kills using a variety of different implements.
mm-hmm.
He's clearly insane, and the body count is a big feature of the plot progression.
Okay. Okay. So you wouldn't start with, like, the Texas Chainsaw Massacre?
Oh, Black Christmas came out before the Texas
Oh,
Chainsaw
shit. Yeah,
Massacre.
that's right. God, I was thinking. Okay. So you wouldn't start with Psycho.
No, I think Psycho, like, it had elements, and later slashers definitely borrowed a lot of elements from Psycho. But Psycho, it's less of a slasher and more of a psychological horror film, I think, if we're talking about what stereotype it's closer to, because um, a lot of the film is more strongly featured around the main character's psychology. And they only use the one weapon too.
Yeah. But I don't know, man. There's so much with that film. Like, I can see the argument either way. Like,
Yeah,
you know, yeah, because Psycho had, like, the whodunit kind of thing,
right.
the actual slashing, the butcher, all that, man. And yeah, definitely a new style of horror for sure.
Hmm.
So I can see the argument either way, man. But I think we both agree here that the golden age of the slasher has to be the '80s.
But as we mentioned, films from the '60s and '70s.
Yeah, but I'm saying though, like they inspired so much. I mean that's what created the boom, and like they kind of like took the formula
And when you look at the
and built
films
on
from
it.
the '80s, like even though the formula was there, it was kind of consistent. A lot of them were creative in the settings they set up. Terror Train, it takes place on a train trip. Hell Night, it takes place during a fraternity initiation.
Hmm.
Um, and then there's something like the Prowler, which has a military theme to it, which I think is like it's got a killer with a gun in it.
Yeah,
Um, but I think yeah, the variety was there. Like they used the slasher idea as less of a template in the '80s because people were just taking the idea and running with it. It wasn't something they were like beholden to.
yeah,
Um, they did these things that became cliches in the modern day, and because that's just how the storyline naturally took them.
yeah, man. There was a lot of great stuff going on in the '80s. I think like the foundation was there. Maniac, yeah, of course, Dragon Blues. Freaking love Maniac. But like, man, the foundation was there, so it allowed them to play with it. Of filmmakers to play with it and experiment with it. And you got these really great settings. You got the cabin in the woods. You got the lake. You've got the mall, you've got the sorority house, but, and not only that,
There's no
man,
cynicism to it back in the day.
nah, man, and not only that, dude, but you got the creativity, dude, because you had so many different weapons, and it was so, because, I mean, dude, I know, like, being a young horror fan, as we were, on the school ground, man, like talking to other horror fans. Dude, wouldn't it be cool if you saw somebody use a lawnmower? Wouldn't it be cool if you saw somebody, all this shit, man? And those people went out and did it.
Do you think the novelty of that, as it's burned out by this point? Do you think there's just so much that's already been done?
Well, that's kind of like the double-edged sword of the '80s, man. It's like, did the 80s, even though like the 80s to me, man, was the golden era for the slasher. You know, it really was to me, man, because you got all that slasher goodness, dude, that you could just turn on, and it was just mindless, gory, cheesy, campy fun, man. But the thing is, man, was it too much of a good thing, you know?
Mm.
And did it burn itself out, dude?
Well, there's a few 80s sequels. There's a few slashers that I could do without. Like, I think the world could have done without Jason Takes Manhattan.
Well, what are we trying to say here, Briggs? Then, if we got rid of Jason Takes Manhattan, then you wouldn't have got my Fight Night commentary when Julius wanted a piece of that ass on the rooftop, baby.
All right, dude. Well, if you wanted to create a new original setting, or an outline for a slasher idea, where do you think you could take it that hasn't been done before, that has the potential to be scary and would actually emblem itself in people's minds?
Man, that's hard. That's really hard. I was really excited when, you know, because I'm a fan of the Friday the 13th remake.
Mm-hmm.
I am. I really liked it. I thought it was like everything I wanted from Friday the 13th films all rolled up into one, man. Like they really tried to capture that atmosphere, and I liked it. So when talks, you know, but that's the thing, they've done it once. So when talks came out about the sequel for that being set in the snow, dude, I was freaking pumped, man. Pumped. Hey, whoa, Briggs. We got our first super chat here, man, ever on a live stream, dude. Coming at us.
Jarrett Barkley.
Jarrett Barkley, man, he says, hello, fellas. I think movies like slashers has to check people's boxes. You can't just make simple movies anymore. They always have to say something.
And why is that? Like, I don't think that's... in itself, I don't think that's necessary, man. Like, a movie can be good without having, like, a strong message that it's trying to convey.
I think, you know, man, I think at one point that may have been true. Maybe. But now, man, I think, I almost feel like slashers have gotten too involved in the message, almost. You know, I mean, look at the new Halloween Kills. I mean, that shit was all over the place, it felt like. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But I do see what he's saying. Like, I think what Jared's trying to say is, like, you want a little more. Like, it can't just be, like, the same, like, you know, Friday the 13th, man. You mentioned part 8 earlier. We had, like, 7 sequels of the same stuff over, I mean, basically, which I love them. Got the Blu-ray box set sitting right beside of me, but you know, man. But and I'll tell you another thing, Briggs. You know, when we were talking about the how imaginative, you know, some of these filmmakers got, man. Let's not forget, as early as 1984, Wes Craven came at us with A Nightmare on Elm Street.
Mm-hmm.
And that was like a slasher fantasy film, dude.
Yeah.
I mean, that gave us, like, all bets are off, man. Anything can happen. And, I mean, we saw, you know, Freddy didn't really change it up much with his weapons, but the settings changed, man. And the creatures and the things he would do, man. I mean, for God's sakes. In Dream Warriors, we got Puppet Freddy and we got, you know, Worm Freddy, dude.
Mm-hmm. So in a way, his weapons did kind of change.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, it's somewhat, but I'm saying, like, you know, it was typically, you know, he was a slasher with the glove, but, you know, I mean, but yeah, I mean, sometimes he would suck people into the bed. Sometimes he would pose as a sexy nurse and tongue whip them to the bedposts, but it was so imaginative, dude.
And it's crazy. Like, you would think if we were to bring that kind of philosophy into a modern film, it would be a box office draw because people love like spectacle like that. They love like a magic trick show almost. If you're talking about Elm Street, but
Yeah.
it's weird. Like it just anybody. It seems like filmmakers anymore, they don't try and take advantage of that creativity. Like it's like the fact that they're making a slasher makes them feel like they almost have to be less creative.
Yeah, man. Sometimes and sometimes, like I said, man, it seems like they get wrapped up too much in the message and just they convolute it, man. It's like, I mean, look at The Strangers. The Strangers was very simple,
And
very
the only message there was that bad things can happen to you at any time.
it was, dude. That was and but it wasn't. It was so simple. The setting was great. An isolated house.
Hmm.
The characters. There were only two protagonists, so it's not like there was a huge body count here, man. It did give us more than one antagonist, which was cool.
Hmm.
But other than that, dude, very simple movie, and it's still, even though that it was a very simple movie, dude, what I'm getting at here is that it still left you wanting more. I wanted to know more in its simplicity. I wanted to know more about the characters and the antagonist, dude. You know?
It was a film that emphasized execution over trying to be clever. And in just trying to make a solid horror film, they kind of sold this image of this trio of killers in these blank white masks. And the fact that they're tormenting two people throughout the night rather than going after the typical, like, college co-ed group.
Yeah.
Um,
Which,
and I mean, like I said before, like, between that and, like, X, I can't really think of any, like, Cold Prey, maybe? When did that come out?
well, Briggs, I'm sitting here going nuts for Vanderhoff because I fucking love that line, dude. I love that because you were home. And then I love what she says in The Strangers too. I remember telling you about that. It was so simple and I loved it. I love it, man. But let's look at some other comments real quick here. Juno says, I have respect for the remake of Friday the 13th. Hey, you and me both. Love it. Love that movie, man. The Fly Tractor F-13 remake was pretty good, despite some minor issues, both story-wise and some technical issues. Hey, I had a blast, dude. Had a freaking blast. Yeah, Dragon Blue's getting in on that Yay Jarrett train, baby. Hey, Breeze, what do you think about that, man? First super chat on one of our podcasts, dude. That's a damn milestone, ain't it?
Oh yeah. We appreciate any kind of donation, horror fam.
Absolutely. Man, Necro says he's still at baseball but can't wait to watch. Hell yeah, we can't wait for you to get here either, man. Now here's one for you, Briggs. Vanderhoff wants to know, would you say House on the Edge of the Park is a slasher?
No, I wouldn't. Like, there's zero body count in that one, and it's honestly, I'd call it more of a crime thriller than a horror film. It's just really sleazy.
Yeah, it was pretty sleazy. That's Alex and Ricky, baby, running amok.
We gonna party tonight?
Yeah, we gonna party. We gonna party it on. Man, Trav. Well, let's see here. Juno says Jason versus Gangs in LA would have been a great idea for part 9 instead of Jason Goes to Hell.
Oh, hello, Fly Attractor.
Damn! Look at goddamn Briggs. I told you, dude, if you just unbutton that shirt a little more, I knew we'd get more donations, baby. Briggs with the sex appeal, folks. Look at this. Oh my god. The Fly Tractor with a 5x, baby. Second ever donation on a live stream. I love it. or on a podcast, excuse me here. So he says, Jason X just had a bit of an anniversary. How would either of you rate it on at least trying to do something new / creative?
Well, I think like it kept up the brutality angle that you would expect from a Friday the 13th film. It's just in the end it was just a Friday the 13th film just on a kind of like little ass space station set. Like it didn't like
Shit.
bring anything that creative to the plot.
Fly Tractor says we came for the discussion. We pay for the chest hair. Oh my god, I love it. That hamburger meat. I told you, Bree, you should off that hamburger meat, baby. But you know, Jason X, you know, to get into that, you know, Jason X came right around the millennium. I think it was out in 2001. I think was the official release date, but it suffered some issues, Briggs. So that movie had been made, and it was it was done, you know, and it got shelved, and it sit on those shelves for a while. And one of the problems that I've heard people argue, you know, is why Jason X didn't do so well, you know, and some might even say that this is just an excuse. But they say that where it was shelved, people were able to pirate it. And it did get into the hands of pirates, and people did pirate it before it was released in theaters. And I do know one of the problems it faced was that like the CGI wasn't done on those pirated copies, because that's like one of the last things they do when they make a film. So, you know, I've heard people argue that, you know, pirates saw these shitty CGI copies and it deterred them from the final product and seeing it in theaters. But I'm like, man, come on, man. This was like 2001. How many people pirated that damn thing? You know, in the first place, because I mean, goddamn, dude, everybody was on dial-up back then. But you know, so that's something to keep in mind, though. You know, that's why I brought that up. But
where would you rank it?
You know what, man? I can get down with Jason X because I've accepted what it is at this point. There's movies that I like that I know are bad movies, but I like them, and it's a bad movie, but I like it. And you know, I will tell people, and you know, like when I have people come over or something, man, you know, I typically won't put on a movie I know is bad unless I tell them like, this is bad, but I like it. Do you still want to watch it? You know, I give them that warning. So yeah, at least they tried to do something different and they tried to get creative and all this, and we got Uber Jason. That's one good thing we can talk about, Briggs, is old Uber Jason. But
how would you feel about a slasher franchise that was set in space from the beginning?
Oh shit. I don't know, man. Like I'm not big on sci-fi stuff, so I don't know how I would respond to that. You know, I wasn't one of those people, you know, I still haven't seen the Star Wars movies. I didn't watch Star Trek, you know, so.
I'm not talking like Star Wars or Star Trek, dude. I'm talking like Event Horizon or shit like that.
Oh, okay. It could be cool. You know, I'd be interested in you know, seeing what could spring from that. Of course, man, I love slashers, but you know,
if they were to come up with enough new creative ideas, man, would you like there to be another slasher boom, or do you think it shouldn't like go as hard next time if we start getting a good stream of new slashers?
Man, you know, give me all you got, baby. I love slashers, man. I do, and but give me good ones. You know what I'm saying? And like, I think that's where the problem is. Now I did like stuff like You're Next, Ready or Not. I liked that. The Hunt was okay. But once again, those are the same thing, man. They play on the humor aspect and stuff like that. And the same thing with like Hatchet. I liked the Hatchet movies, but once again, man, it's more of the same. Give me something that's, straightforward slasher, dude. Not something that makes fun of itself on the sly, or something that has, it can have comedic elements, but not be that self-aware kind of comedy. Yeah,
I prefer one with like no comedic elements. Like,
yeah, that's what I'm saying. I mean, if I would even take some that have comedic elements, but I'd prefer something straightforward just to give me something different. But and don't give me another throwback. I mean, because the 80s, the 70s and the 80s, they had their slashers. They had their great slashers. They had their not so great slashers. But man, that's where it is, and you are not going to do better.
Right.
You're not going to, in 2022, you're not going to do better at making an 80s slasher than someone did in the 80s, man. Come on, dude.
And you're probably not going to make as good of a throwback as somebody made like 5 or 8 years back.
No, not anymore, man. I mean, that, because we've seen it. We've seen it so much. But yeah, dude, if there's another slasher boom and they were good, I mean, that's the thing. There was so much territory there to explore in the 80s, like we talked about, but because if your argument is that Black Christmas started the modern slasher, it really didn't catch on probably until Halloween. Then Halloween sparked Friday the 13th, and then all fucking, everything was a go. Man, there was so much to explore there. We got so much. And
Every holiday.
yeah, we got every holiday. We got every setting people could think of. I want to say hi to Jordan Graham, man. Welcome to the stream. New face in here, Briggsy. It looks like we're blowing up in the comments. What's up, T-Films? Holy crap, it's been a while, brother.
You're talking about Laid to Rest, Flyer Tractor.
Yeah, let's see. Michael Leisure wants to know, what is your favorite cult movie? His is Silent Night, Deadly Night.
That's a tough question.
That
What would you
is.
say, Bo?
I don't know, man. That is a tough one. Silent Night, Deadly Night's a good one though, dude, and that's a slasher you don't see talked about so much. But the thing is, Briggs, and this is a comment that someone else brought up earlier about cult films change all the time, and somebody brought up earlier that like Black Christmas was pretty much shit on until the 90s or early 2000s, and it's like,
Right.
that's the way it is with a lot of these movies, man. Like if you would have went on IMDb back in 2003 and looked at stuff like Halloween 3, Friday the 13th Part 5, movies like that now have a cult following, they would have been shit on.
And films that you would have seen mention of those forums back then, like Evil Dead or Texas Chainsaw Massacre, I don't know if you consider them cult films anymore. They're pretty ingrained in the popular consciousness.
Yeah, man. Yeah, so here's one for you, Briggs. Michael Leisure brings this up. He says, Final Destination was a good slasher of the 2000s. Would you consider that a slasher, dude?
I basically consider Final Destination a slasher series, man. It's just a killer's weapon happens to be making things happen.
Okay, well, here's kind of one that's might be a little bit on the fence, Briggs. Would you consider It Follows a slasher film? Because that's a really good movie. I really like It Follows.
Wouldn't consider it a slasher, no. And that's because not only is it kind of more of a creature feature, it's got like a nameless monster at its center. There's not really much slashing. It does some weird, like, brutal sex thing to your body, and that's what it does to every victim it gets.
Well, yeah, that is true, but it does have some pretty basic elements of a
I can
slasher.
see why one would call it a slasher.
There is the stalking aspect. There is the man, even like like when it breaks in the house and you hear the glass break in the kitchen and
Hmm.
Jesus Christ, when that huge son of a bitch comes power walking up them steps, Briggs.
God.
But oh
So
man,
it follows. It follows was a slasher to you, right?
I don't know. It's kind of like a paranormal. I think. I mean, I don't know. I mean,
Would
I
you
can
want to
see the
see
elements of a slasher there.
if there were to be another slasher boom? Would you want them to be like more creature based, like less people with weapons and more things with powers?
I would like both because I think Wes Craven really had something with A Nightmare on Elm Street. And I
Hmm.
think Freddy kind of like had the corner on that market in the 80s. Like
Right.
he was the only, slasher that was really doing what he did. Everybody else, even though they had like their superhuman abilities in some ways, Michael Myers getting shot 52 times, but
Hellraiser.
and Hellraiser. There you go. But yeah, I mean stuff like that, man. Classic. I mean, yeah, you can have both sides of it, dude. You got your Hellraiser, you got your Nightmare on Elm Street, but then you also have Halloween, Friday the 13th, the Texas Chainsaw Massacre. Daughter of Death and Dragon Blues knows it, baby. Bo wants it all. I want it all, Briggs. I'm telling you, man.
And
I
he wants it now.
Yeah, it's still out there, man. People need to put their ideas to paper and then get someone to shoot that stuff, man. Because I'm telling you, there's still ideas out there. Slashers don't have to be throwbacks. They don't have to be self-aware. They don't have to be, satirical.
Don't write a slasher for the sake of writing a slasher. Do it because you've come up with a good idea that's more than just a Freddy with a different mask, or Jason with a different mask, or Freddy with a different death.
Now, here's a question for you, Briggs. If you were, cause Scream kind of, and we've talked about this. Scream did some not Scream both revitalized the slasher genre in a way, and to be fair, it was freaking dead at that point in time any damn way. But it also ruined slashers in a way. It did some bad because it was so self-aware and they gave you the rules and stuff and kind of laid out the blueprint for you, man. So here's my question to you, dude. If slashers did, and I want to know, I want the chat to get in on this. Okay, so I want everybody's opinion on this. Briggs, I want to hear you. I want to hear people in the chat. We're going to go over these comments. If slashers had another big boom, would you like to see them stick with the formula, which is the rules? A body count, a faceless killer with somewhat superhuman abilities. You have your topless women running around, whatever. If you drink or smoke, you're dead. Like, would you like to see that kind of formula again, or would you like to see some more stuff that strays away from that formula, more unique stuff? Like which would you rather, dude?
I don't want there to be rules, man. Like, I'm fine with the formula with the faceless killer. That's part of the like stereotype, but I don't want there to be rules. I don't want there to be someone you could predict always dies or always dies first. I don't want to be able to predict who's committing the killings. I don't want it to be just the same plot with an interchangeable like accessories.
Would you want more whodunits?
Yeah, for a slasher, the best ones, I think. Well, not necessarily the best ones, but there's so much potential, like mixing a whodunit with a slasher formula. So much potential for suspense,
Hmm.
like so epic a climax you could possibly like get out of that.
Yeah. Yeah, and I'm looking at the comments here, Briggs, and Dragon Blues is like, nah, screw the rules. Half the rules are dumb anyway.
Hmm.
We got Michael Ledger saying The Stepfather was a great slasher. I liked it. Pretty gritty, man. Michael Baraki, if slashers were dead in 1996, is it all of horror by now? You will definitely have to check out our Is Horror Dead podcast and leave a comment on that one, brother man. But welcome to the stream either way. But the Fly Tractor says he wants more unique for the most part to him.
Hmm.
And Michael Leisure says, I want smart people in slashers, victims and the hero.
Yeah, so do I.
Yeah, that would be cool. But the reason I have to ask that, Briggs, and like I could see both sides. When it comes to your stuff like the Friday the 13th remake, we'll go back to that. I really like how they did that because, well, it belonged to a franchise already. So it already gets a pass in some regards. Like, they pretty much took everything they could that made that franchise what it is and put it into one movie. So, great. Great for a one-off, in my opinion, Briggs. But, like I said, by the sequel, man, they would have really had to do something different. Because you can't just regurgitate that same material over and over, because that's sort of what happened in the 80s, and it somewhat led to like the demise of the slasher, because everything was like used up and people had seen, so much stuff. I mean, Jason has been to hell and back, baby. And how many times was Freddy dead, Briggs? And he came back from the flaming urine of a dog. But so I can see I can see that. I think that we could get both things. I think that there is a place for some of those rules sometimes. But for the most part, man, we are. And I hate to say it because it's like that statement, like, you got to stick with what brings you to the dance, baby. And that's what brought slashers to the dance, was that formula. But now, I mean, they really have to evolve, dude. I mean, it's 30, the 80s was 30 years ago, dude. You got to give me something different.
Right. I mean, you gotta evolve is what needs to happen. Like, there needs to be like ones that don't try and copy, and don't try and like take a copy but parody it. But they need to take the best things about the old ones and apply them to their own unique story.
Or yeah, 40 years ago. Jesus Christ, holy crap. DOD coming in here with the what are you doing, DOD? Trying to put more distance from us between now and the golden age of slashers. I can't believe this, DOD. Shun her. But but nah, man. Dude. I
The
think
slasher comes back, it should try and be classy this time. Like, it should try, like, don't go the low key route with it.
Man, I thank you, DOD. You deserve that. No, man, I do. I think there's plenty of room there, man. Where they could go classy, they could go low key. There's plenty of room there, dude. I want to see somebody really take it by its horns, man. I mean, I think it's time for another Strangers.
Mm-hmm.
It is, man, and I think it's time but the slasher, dude, people are going to have to suck it up, because the slasher is like, Briggs, how you have your rock and roll, you have your pop rock, you have your rock and roll, you have your heavy metal, and then by God, you have your death metal. Slashers are the death metal of horror. So people are going to have to suck it up for that one, Briggs. Like, I want to see some crazy shit.
What's the glam rock of horror, dude?
I don't know. Well, I will say though, another one that I've kind of forgot about that I think is a great new slasher was The House That Jack Built.
Was it a slasher?
It could technically fall in there, I guess. I mean, it's a, I could see people call it a crime thriller or a fucking slasher. I don't know, but that's, dude, I mean,
you got me thinking about it. I've never thought of it like that, but it really could apply.
yeah, it could, man. I mean, yeah, and the way he plays with his victims at times, and
there's another serious slasher. Thank you, Lars.
Oh yeah. Let's see. Old Jordan Graham here says, and yes, let's everybody give DOD a hug. I was just fooling. Come on, give her a hug, Briggsy. Show her a little chest hair. Let's get a peeksy. Might get another $5. Keep it up. Oh God, damn, son. I'm just gonna mail you a $5 bill, Briggs, and let you just put it there, like nestled in your chest hair, dude.
Blue says, I want to see the evil in slashers look more like the evil in real life. The way it hides in plain sight. The way it hides its face is a good guy.
Ooh.
That's interesting.
Okay.
Because, I don't know, is there... the only slasher I can think of that's like that, Psycho, I guess, in places, Sleepaway Camp sequels, but they're obviously not the most, doesn't look like real life.
Yeah. Well, let's see here, Breeze. Jordan Graham's, what I mostly like to see in slashers is creative kills. Hells yeah. Let's see here, man. Let's see. Yeah, Michael, slashers are rated R for a reason, baby. Damn right.
So if you're making a slasher, don't be shy.
No,
an R rating goes a long way these days.
Yeah, it does. Well, hell, that's one I wonder, Briggs. Like, hell, if they're a little more... If movies are as hardcore as they used to be. I mean, actually, like an R rating might actually not go as far as it used to.
No, I guess not. Like, there hasn't been that much that's pushed the envelope in terms of gore that's come to theaters lately.
Yeah.
Like, it seems to have hit a peak almost in the late 2000s, early 2010s, and it's kind of like steadily gone more sanitized from there.
I think I'd agree on that for sure, man. The Fly Attractor, are the Happy Death Day movies considered slashers? Yes. And I liked them. But once again, comedic, not straightforward, Briggs.
Like, great films, I thought, but, like, definitely meta and definitely funny.
Gory Tiger just called you Teen Wolf, bub.
You'd see me when I got my full bush.
Michael Ledger wants to know if The Blob 1988, could it be considered a slasher?
Straight up a monster movie. I'm sorry.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. Total monster movie. Michael Baraki says, how can horror reduce violent crime is a question I think it should seek to solve. It's been trending down for decades. Gun violence is still too high. U.S. thing, not rest of first world.
What would you say, Bo? I am stumped.
Yeah, I don't know, man. I kind of don't get into debates like that because when you do that, man, then you get stuff like what the Columbine incident caused.
Uh,
You know what I'm saying? Like when you start
when you
bringing those things
conflate
together,
fiction with reality, then
yeah.
fiction starts taking the blame for things that we should be trying to find solutions for in reality.
Yeah, so but I do know that uh things are nowhere near as violent as they used to be. Like hell, the whole world's better than ever from everything I've read. So that's thumbs up for that, Briggs. And I like to credit it to Briggs's chest hair. I think violent crime dipped 5% with every button that comes undone, Briggs.
My puberty was a glorious thing, dude. Some may even call it miraculous.
Oh yeah. Well, dude, and that's the Fly Attractor says here, man, that CGI kind of makes it too easy to be creative and gory nowadays, and that's something that I
Mhm.
think is something that we really have to think about too, man. When we talk about these new age slashers, Briggs, if we do get them, please let us get them. Should they use CGI in them? I know my answer.
I think it's kind of inevitable that they'll use CGI in this day and age, but I think like people moving away from practical effects has in fact been one of the biggest. It's been
Detriments.
one of the biggest stumbling blocks to the modern slasher. The fact that people are willing to substitute like a quick computer effect for something they would a gore effect they would have to build with latex and Karo syrup.
Yeah, man. Yeah, there's especially as far as slashers go, man. There you got to have your practical effects, dude. You got to. I mean, for the most part, I could maybe see some CGI in there. Like I said, as a little bit of sugar on the top of the cake, there, Briggs, as the cherry on top, maybe to accentuate the practical effects, man. But other than that, like you can't rely on CGI for a slasher in my book.
Hmm.
Vanderhoff says Evil Dead 2013 gory as hell. Absolutely freaking loved it. Oh shit,
Here's a question.
Trav Zimmerman says one more Briggs button will break the internet. Is that true, Briggs? Briggs is going to do one more fucking button and it's going to be like Y2K in this son of a bitch. Like,
If you thought my puberty was devastating, then wait till you see.
oh my god, it's
I
over.
was gonna ask, um, shoot, what do you think about franchise horror? Like, do you think first off, do you think we could use some new franchises, or would you like most new slashers in this hypothetical boom to be one-offs? Secondly, do you think the current franchises should either die off or just kind of take a break?
Man,
Or would you like to see like a return to form with something like Friday the 13th or new Halloween movies?
dude, I think unfortunately we are in, because horror goes through phases. We've discussed this, man, and I think right now, as far as the franchises go, anyway, dude, people are stuck in this bullshit where it has to be a damn requel, as Scream would call it. Where it's like a direct sequel to a fucking movie that took place 40 years ago. And man, I don't want to see that. Because I've seen it. And I've seen it when it was made in the golden age of horror. Or the
Yeah.
golden age of the slasher, anyway. And,
Psycho 2.
man, I don't want to, I don't want more of that. It's played out. And then these movies don't have their own identities. Because,
Hmm.
Halloween Kills or Halloween 2018 ends up giving the fucking original just a hand job for an hour and a half. Like, I don't want to see that. It's like, oh man, we reused this same death scene from the original. Oh man, we reused the mask from Halloween 3. Oh shit. And then it doesn't become its own movie. It's
So, would you like those old franchises to die off then, or do you just is there a different direction you'd like them to go in?
You know, man, I think if somebody gave a shit and it wasn't just for money, somebody could get a hold of one of those properties and really fucking do something with it. Whether it be Halloween, whether it be Scream or Friday the 13th. But, dude, it's like, right now they're clearly just milking it. And, I mean, they're milking it for all it's worth. So I think, man, you're going to have to take that son of a bitch out back and shoot it. Because, right now, I think, the people, I mean, hell, look at my, what was it, 10 Things You Didn't Know About Halloween 2018 video. And, at the end, Jason Blum was smiling his ass off like a shark. Just like, I knew that the Blumhouse formula would apply well to the Halloween franchise. And we did it, and we made this much. It's like, this motherfucker only cares about money. That's it. Like, not good storytelling. He refuses. He has said in the research I did for those films, they asked him, like John Carpenter and David Gordon Green, like, well, when are you going to finally make a damn movie or something? He's like, never. So he has no creative soul, man. Like he just doesn't. He's a money man. So what I'm saying, man, is that, as far as these franchises go, they're in the hands of money people right now and not creative people. So probably you're just going to have to take that son of a bitch out back and shoot it and just give us new movies, new slashers, man, something new to love instead of, jerking off the past.
I heard Fly Attractor say some of those direct-to-video on-demand slashers are gems. I'm wondering which hidden gems he's found among those.
Yeah, I'd like to hear what they have there, man. Hey, what's up? Born to be rad, dude. Welcome to the stream, brother, man. Glad you made it in here. Have a safe trip. Vanderhoff says he's 53, so he grew up seeing all the 80s slashers movies as they came out. That lucky son of a bitch, Vanderhoff. 10 things Jason Blum and Sharks have in common. There you go. The Fly Tractor says, that is why if they do make a new Friday the 13th movie, keep it away from Blumhouse and keep Sean Cunningham out of it. Yeah, I feel you there. Man, Blumhouse, he just, that Jason Blum, he's a money man, and that's it. Oh God, here we go, Trav. Here we go, Briggs. See, just a little bit of creativity, and he's already made up a better damn movie. He says, how about taking movies that are not horror flicks and remake them as horror flicks? Like remake Back to the Future, but make Biff a slasher in both 1985 and 1955. Marty and Doc trying to stop. There you go, Briggs. Can't you just hear Doc saying how he shot Biff 6 times?
Please, no more remakes in general, dude. I'm sorry.
But Biff got in the time machine and went back before Doc shot him 6 times, dude. No, man. The Fly Tractor says that Laid to Rest movie was fun and tried to add a current day take on it, which is cool. But yeah, it was, different. More technology-based slasher, I remember. Like, I remember watching the sequel. But yeah, Briggs, I think right now, man, we're just, we're pretty hard up, dude.
Well, same could be said going back to 1991.
That's true. That's true. I think somebody will come out, man. Somebody's got to save us. Horror goes through phases. I mean, The Strangers came out of nowhere.
Mm-hmm.
And, I hate to keep going back to that, but, and, The House That Jack Built was a goodie. So,
Hellfest was decent, and that came out of nowhere.
there you go. There you go, man.
Haunt.
Okay. Yeah, and what was the other one, man? There was Hellfest and Bloodfest.
God, that's
Yeah.
not ringing any bells. Bloodfest.
Yeah, there was a Hellfest and there was a Bloodfest. Um, yeah, so it looks like we're talking about the Friday the 13th franchise in the comments, and it's like, man, that's my stomping grounds. I love the Friday the 13th movies, absolutely. And, I see us talking about a little bit of Tater Sack Jason in there getting a hold of Alice. Well, hell, here's one for you, Briggs. Here's one for you, man. This just talking about the final girl reminded me of this, man. And A Nightmare on Elm Street 2 explored this, but we never really got more of it. Could you see a dude being quote unquote the final girl in a new slasher film, dude?
I could, dude. Like I said, no rules, man. Like, I think you shouldn't be able to predict who survives. You shouldn't be able to predict who did it.
I got you, man. So, do you think? I don't know how to word this.
It's gonna be good.
Oh yeah. Well, do you think? Can you think of another slasher that kind of had that approach, like with the dude being sort of like the final girl, like Jesse was?
Like, I know there's some out there. I would just need to think about it. The Burning. Andre.
But A Nightmare on Elm Street 2 came after, and that's definitely... Yeah, we never know what even happened to Jesse or Lisa. Like, it's weird how that one just got dropped. Because at least we got some... I mean, after that, like, they wrapped shit up. I mean, poor Kincaid got his ass off, and Joey, and Nancy, Alice. Well, Alice lives. Dan got
Rituals. Rituals, but that had an all-male cast.
Yeah. Huh. So it can be done, man. Like, it'd be interesting to see someone do something with that, because it was A Nightmare on Elm Street 2, like, no matter what people... Oh, Gory Taggart, Jason Lives has a final boy, and that's... I think that's...
Got a final couple.
It does, and that's actually my favorite Friday the 13th, man. I'm glad you brought that up, but... Briggs, I think this could go either way, boy or girl. As far as Nightmare on Elm Street 2's concerned, like, despite what people say about whether you like it or not, I think we can agree, man, that's definitely one of the darker films in the franchise.
For sure. Like, it's the last one that didn't have, like, that stronger fantasy aspect to it. The one that was more of a grounded horror film.
Yeah. Yeah, I think though, to kind of clear it up in the comments, there are some, final couples like that, of course, but the thing that kind of separates those is they spent like equal amounts of time between the couples or whatever, but A Nightmare on Elm Street 2 pretty much focuses like solely on Jesse.
Mm-hmm.
And the only time you get Lisa is when she's with Jesse, really.
Right.
I mean, for the most part. But, in for instance, like Friday the 13th, part 6 or something, like, you do get Megan on her own and hanging out with her friends at the camp and stuff, and then Tommy on his own. But, so they're both kind of, neither one of them is really the prime focus, really.
Mm-hmm.
But, Briggs, I don't know, man. What do you think in the next 10 years? Do you think we're going to get another slasher boom? Do you think it's going to stay dead? I mean, where do you think? Because, like we've talked about, horror comes in phases. Do you see the slasher reemerging, so to speak, or?
I don't see the slasher reemerging anytime soon, man. Like, just don't see the demand for one thing,
Mm-hmm.
and I don't think there's a whole lot of will to like write a film that would have that kind of success as its own beast.
Yeah.
Like, I think we're either going to get, in terms of slashers for the immediate future, we're either going to get more sequels or more ripoffs.
Yeah. Yeah, man. I'm with you on that, Briggs, and it's looking like
And more quirky shit like Happy Death Day.
yeah. And that's not to talk shit about Happy Death Day, because I liked it. But
Same, but
it plays it plays that it plays that card, man. So I'm with you on that, dude. Unfortunately, in the sense that we're talking about, I do think slashers are dead. And I don't see them coming back anytime soon. I'm totally with you on that, Briggs. It's going to be more fucking requels, maybe a reboot or a remake here and there, tossed in. I mean, people are just all about making money, and right now it looks like that's where, unless somebody comes out with some kind of just badass original slasher, that just knocks everybody's balls off, that's probably what we're going to be stuck with for a while, man. That's the thing. That's the thing. Like, it all. People jump on bandwagons and nobody's starting the bandwagon.
check out X for sure, Bo.
I'll check out X, but once again, man, it's another Jesus Christ, we're getting spammed in the comments by some sex bot, Briggs. I knew fucking unbuttoning your shirt would do this. But man, I definitely will check out X. Absolutely, Briggs. And I'll check out X, but once again, man, it plays into what we've talked about, I think, and if not, then it's an independent film. So it's
an A24, dude. Does that really count?
I mean, it's not. We'll say it didn't get a wide theatrical release. But damn, Briggs, I guess we've made it. We finally got a damn sex bot in the fucking.
They're like human Axe body spray. It was inevitable.
Human Axe body spray. Oh, man. But, yeah, my friends, unless you want to drop us a comment right now, any last questions or comments or anything like that, my friends, we have oh, what the fuck? God damn, son, he got them deep pockets. The Fly Tractor got them deep pockets, baby, hitting us with another 5 buckarooskies. Last question from the Fly Tractor, Briggs, with a $5 bill on top of it. Let's see what we got here. Which franchise got more grief from the MPAA back in the day? Friday the 13th or Nightmare on Elm Street? And thanks for the hair. Fuck yeah, Fly Tractor, baby, coming in. Oh my goodness gracious, I love it. Oh, look at that, Briggs. Oh my God.
In terms of which franchise took it harder up the ass from the MPAA, I would definitely go Friday the 13th. Because, like, practically every film in that franchise was trimmed down in some way. The only one to take major cuts from the fucking Elm Street franchise was Part 5.
Yeah, I'm definitely with Briggs on this one. Friday the 13th, I mean, the original, I mean, Jesus Christ, man, not even from the MPAA, but critically, Siskel and Ebert fucking doxed Betsy Palmer. They gave out her damn address on their show. So, yeah, man, I mean, Friday the 13th got shat on, yeah, I know there was some, even, in, Friday the 13th Part 2, I'm not sure if it's from the MPAA as to why this was cut or not, man, but if you watch the movie, a lot of us probably just, Friday the 13th Part 2 is Friday the 13th Part 2 by now. Like, we don't really ask many questions about it, but if you think about it, what the fuck happened to Paul? When Jenny's getting carted into the ambulance at the end, she's like, Paul, where the fuck's Paul at? And I mean, now, like I said, you just like, well, that's the movie. But, I do know.
They ran out of budget.
Well, no. I do know that there are pictures of a dead Paul. So I don't know if that got cut. I don't know. I mean, it got cut, but I don't know if it got cut because of the MPAA or what.
Wasn't that the one where they were originally going to end with showing Paul's corpse, like, lying next to Mrs. Voorhees' head, and the head was going to open its eyes?
I don't know, man. I could have seen them doing that.
Because they didn't want to go the supernatural angle.
Yeah. So Fly Tracker says what happened to Paul is that they didn't want to pay any of the actors to return. That might be. I just remember like the pictures coming out for that. But I mean, I don't know. Apparently he was dead, and we
ain't heard from him since.
Yeah, Fly Tractor also says, I recall NOES, A Nightmare on Elm Street, getting grief for how much Freddy said the word bitch. They tried to make a big deal about that and how it's messing up the kids. Trav Zimmerman, Paul fixed Jenny's car just by looking at the engine. Ain't that true? It was that damn solenoid, Trav. Damn solenoid was out, Briggs. But, Nightmare on... Yeah, and I remember Freddy saying bitch a lot in... Was it Freddy's Dead? Like, he went overboard with it in that one.
God.
Yeah, but for all you fans of Friday the 13th Part 2, so, I started this stream talking about I just got back from vacation. Mm-hmm. And I showed Briggs this already before I came back. But I have not shown you kind folks yet. And I picked this up on vacation. It just so happens it's sitting on my desk right now. So I will show all of you if you give me just 1 second here. Let me move my copy of the Necronomicon out of the way, Briggs. Here we go. Check this shit out, man. Oh. Tater sack! What do you think about that, Briggs? Old Tater Sack Jason, Friday the 13th, Part 2, Living Dead Dolls. For those of you listening on the podcast and not watching the video, I picked up the Living Dead Dolls Presents Friday the 13th, Part 2, Tater Sack Jason, which comes with pickaxe and Mrs. Voorhees' head, Briggs.
Can I just say how cool it is that they made a Tater Sack Jason?
It is, man. And, I'm going to open this bad boy up. And, apparently the tater sack is removable.
Ooh.
And he has that lovely, lovely, lovely deformed face underneath that bad boy. What do you think about that?
You gonna get the reveal bow?
I might actually do an unboxing for it, just for the shits and gigs. If people out there request it, if you guys and gals want to see an unboxing video come up on the channel in the future, go ahead and leave me a comment in the chat, and I might just make that happen. What do y'all think about that?
We know your previous unboxing videos did like super numbers, like triple digits, dude.
Yeah! Briggs, you dick. You pessimist fuck. Oh, man. Oh, okay, Billy Judd. So Billy Judd said that there is an alternate ending to Friday the 13th Part 2 where it doesn't even show Jenny getting carted away to the hospital. It just cuts back to Jason's shack after Jason attacks Jenny. Which, you know, it's been a while, man. I'm going to have to catch up on all my deleted scenes and stuff from Friday the 13th. You know, I remember those pictures, those super rare pictures got released, and I didn't, was at a time where I didn't get to read too much into them, Briggs. Oh, shit, everybody's saying unboxing. What do you think about that, Briggs?
Hell, more power to you, dude. Let's see it.
I'll do it. I will do
the
it.
Face behind the mask.
You dick. Oh, man. Yeah, but yeah, man, I guess that's it, Breeze. I guess Jordan Graham wanting that unboxing. We're going to make it happen. It's official, Briggs. We will get an unboxing of Tater Sack Jason. This is going to be epic, ain't it?
Hell yeah.
Oh, man. Oh, yeah, Fly Tractor. So Fly Tractor says this: expecting to see Pam's head and just thinking her eyes would open did creep me out as a wee slasher twerp back in the day. Yeah, the whole time you're watching the ending of Friday the 13th Part 2 and it's doing that slow zoom in on Pamela Voorhees' head, you're sitting there waiting on those eyes to open, man.
Just like if we never saw a hand pop out and Carrie White goat burns in hell.
Yes, which by the way, after I actually did an interview with Victor Miller way back in the day, and he told me, you know, it's weird that you had mentioned that, Breeze. He told me that, you know, the ending for Friday the 13th, he stole that directly from Carrie.
Oh, God.
He did. He's like, we need a dream sequence with one last scare. Well, I mean, him and Sean Cunningham talked about it, and you know, they decided that, but he's like, yeah, that shit was stolen.
Shit.
Yeah.
Maybe without that little mandate, maybe we would have never gotten a Jason. Maybe we wouldn't gotten a sequel at all.
Yeah. Maybe. So, very, very cool, man. It's crazy how things work out, dude. We wouldn't have got your horror icon, Ari Lehman, if not for Carrie.
God.
Oh, man. All right, my friends. Like, I'm just having fun sitting here chatting with Briggs at this point. I think we've covered our topic, beat it all to hell, and we all agree. Slashers are awesome.
Hell yeah, they are.
Damn right, Briggsy. All right, man. So, hey, cheers, Trav. Thanks for coming in, dude. Briggsy and I are going to hop off. We would like to say thank you to all of you who came into the stream tonight. And major thank you to you kind folks who swung us a few dollars to make us holla holla, because you broke our podcast donation cherry.
Hell yeah.
Hell yeah. First ever donations during our podcast tonight, Briggs.
Want to thank y'all for being our horror fam, dude. You guys are great.
Oh, yeah. Thanks. Major shout out to the horror fam. Coming in strong tonight, Briggs. Had a really good audience tonight. The chat was popping. And you know what, Briggs? We couldn't ask for better horror fam members.
Another hug. One for all of y'all.
Oh, look at that! Nuzzle
one
them
more
into that chest hair. Look at that. Oh, my goodness. Oh, my goodness gracious. I'm going to have to wear a button up next week. It'll be the battle of the chest hairs, Briggs. There's your freebie, Jordan. Hell yeah. But, folks, before you go, I will be having another podcast Saturday night. So make sure you clear your schedules for that, because TalkHorror will have a very special guest. And Briggs, I hope you can tune in and join in on the chat, baby.
Hey, me and DOD will be there, sir.
Hell yeah. You got to see. I haven't even told Briggs who this special guest is, so.
Yeah, he's keeping me in the dark, dude, like it's some big secret.
Saturday night! Saturday night live.
Saturday night.
Yeah. So make sure y'all keep them damn schedules wide open, baby. But thank y'all for coming in. And thank you for being part of the horror fam, as it were, Briggs. So all of y'all make sure you look horror,
Listen horror,
and talk horror.
Yeah.
Yeah.